Hey folks, it's Tuesday night. It's 9:30. It's time to go behind the hedges. Finally, behind the hedges has come back to the internet. Where you been, Matt?
Where you been?
I don't know, man.
Where have we been?
There
Not
was a
on this show. Man, I've missed it. Got some good stuff to talk about tonight, though. Man, it's been too long. I just think it's part of the. I just think it's part of the doldrums of the off season, folks. Like,
maybe so. There was a twister. I looked out my window. There was a scarecrow. Something I don't know. And then I looked
mm,
out. Now I'm in Pennsylvania somewhere. Hey, let's get into it.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push the mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
so what you want to talk about?
Well, I actually have some questions. Because of the the storm and not being in Kansas anymore, I actually got to miss G Day. All right, and so
Yeah.
full disclosure, you all, I had to go home for a funeral. Right, so that no pity party or anything like that. It was a thing I had to do, and I wound up missing the G Day on that Saturday, and then we actually missed the show the following week. Travel was just a nightmare. All right. But I understand that you have seen G Day, and I've seen parts, bits and pieces. I still haven't watched it from bell to bell. But I want to just ask some questions here. What did we? Well, I want to be general and then more specific later. All right. So, in general, what did we learn about G Day?
We learned, and if you hadn't seen it, Georgia fans, go on YouTube, watch the highlights. I think that's about the best you're going to be able to pull up. What we learned is that we have still an incredibly talented group of football players who were energetic, competitive, and seem to be having fun. That hasn't always been the case in spring games. Now, spring games are kind of tricky because you got a bunch of people who are like, man, it's just a spring game. It don't matter. Of course, until you get to their spring game. And then, of course, it's the crystal ball that's going to tell you how they're going to snatch that natty.
Mhm.
Florida fans. Um, but there's validity to both sides of that coin. You do get to see what what the what the new blood's going to look like, but they're not out there running the ball. They're not out there like really, trying to outthink each other. Kirby said it himself. We're going to come out here and have some fun and see who wants to hit and see who wants to catch, and we're going to air it out. And it's sort of a controlled fire, right?
Sure.
What I like these little things. I didn't see nobody's head sagging. I didn't see no spaghetti arms. I didn't see nobody out there disinterested. Everybody was in it. The young guys, the guys coming back. Um, we have a very, very talented, bought-in football team. That's what we learned from the spring game. It was 26-23. Neither side really folded, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I saw where was it Clemson that had a score of like 10-9 or
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean,
And I mean,
again,
with a
and
game like that,
Clemson fans are gonna be like, well, it's just a spring game, right? But had it been like our game, or if had ukulele, come to Christ and thrown for 1,000 yards and 60 points, they'd have been like, see, we got this. So spring games are kind of like whatever makes you look and feel the best is the direction you're going to go with how much a spring game means. I was just good. I was just good with the energy. I was good with the
sure,
the
sure.
pop and they seemed bought in. They were having fun. Like black team defensive players would come over and congratulate red team young guys, defensive players who made plays. It was a very energetic spring game.
Yeah, yeah. So one good thing about the spring game, or one thing that I've always enjoyed, is like it's sort of a preview for like some of the young guys that you've been reading about. You're hyped on. Um, you're excited to see or whatever. Did any of the new guys, new up and comers, flash any brilliance? Is there anything that we can say about players that we haven't seen before, or seen yet?
You saw some athleticism and um, some ability from some of this young secondary. Dalen Everett will hit you.
Hmm.
Malachi Stark can move. Um,
Robert says Oscar Delp's going to be a problem.
Let me just get to that. I was gonna save that for last. Thanks for ruining that, Robert. Our tight ends are going to be a problem. Oscar Delp, Gilbert. We didn't even have Brock and Darnell Washington on the field. They were just they were injured, and Oscar Delp was, the announcers were like, I thought Brock was hurt.
Right.
The kid can ball. He'll grow. He'll get bigger. He'll get smarter. They didn't really have him out there in any blocking situations. He's going to have to work on that. But the guy can catch, and he looks very Brock-ish.
Well, the one play that I remember watching was they threw a little flip out there to Oscar, and then he turned upfield, and a guy hit him immediately, and Oscar just trucked the guy, just rolled right off of him, and then you're like, oh my God, he's still going. And I guess that kind of thing happens from time to time, but man, that's the kind of stuff you like to see.
Immediately after the spring game, the narrative on the internet, a lot of people were just talking about something called 14 personnel.
And now explain what that is.
Well, I think is that three? That's three on the field at the same time.
Four tight ends.
So it's four.
So,
all right, now so put this in your mind. Oscar Delp, Brock Bowers, Arik Gilbert, Darnell Washington, all on the field at the same time. I think that would leave you with a single back there with Stetso.
Let's see, 5 linemen and 4. So you could have a quarterback and a receiver, or a quarterback and a back.
So those 4 names plus Kenny Melton back there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? Doesn't matter.
Whatever you want.
By hook or crook, yards will be gained, touchdowns will be scored. I think it's a scary. I'm hoping Todd Monken has got the, he's in the lab. I'm hoping he's like, what can I do with these 4 dudes plus the dudes I already got to make this a nightmare? I mean, if it clicks, if they put this together, that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, man. Okay. So I'm an opposing defensive coordinator, and I see Georgia trot out these 4 behemoth tight ends, right? The monsters. And I think, okay, so are they going to try to run it? Because if they want to, that's basically you got 4 additional offensive linemen, if you really want to think of it like that, so they can just run it right down your throat. Or if you bring in, and so now you bring in trying to, your run stopping packages. And then we just throw it all over you, So it's just nasty, man. The personnel is just absolutely disgusting. What about so that's offensive side of the ball. The quarterback situation, we always talked about how it was a foregone conclusion that Beck is gone, and then all of a sudden he shows up and starts. He looks like one of the better.
He's the clear number 2. Stetson is going to Stetson. Stetson at the spring game. There were plays where he looked like he looked in the last 8 minutes of the Natty. There were plays where he looked like he looked in the first 3.5 quarters. That's Stetson Bennett right here. He is what he is. His ceiling has been achieved. Beck, on the other hand, dude, his first throw of the game, he hit Arian Smith, who left our secondary in the dust. On a 60-yard throw right out of the gate, polished. He remember Beck last year kind of looked like deer in headlights. They won none of that. He's the clear number 2, and I don't know, man. They might disagree. I think Stetson's going to be on a shorter leash than he. No, they had a difficult conversation. I think that's what it was. It was like, look, you earned the right to start, but the leash is short, sir.
Why not? We've got a lot of toys. Before we get off the G-Day conversation, I do want to ask something about defense. So, we're losing all these guys to the draft, et cetera. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. I think your wife was calling you or something. Hi, sweetheart. So, we're losing a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, we had a lot to lose. I mean, it is a historic defense and yada yada yada. But will this defense just not exist this year? Are we going to be giving up 5-6 touchdowns a game? What is this going to look like?
It's potential for some real trouble at safety and linebacker. Everything else, I think, is going to be solid. We have to just place our trust that between Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, and Glenn Schumann, they're going to figure it out. The raw talent's there.
Yeah.
It's just a lack of experience. I'm going to say this. Action Jackson cannot start. There's got to be somebody better than that because I know you love him. He's like that young whippersnapper jobber that you thought might have a chance to win in the 80s with the mullet. And he's just, you're all for him because he's all, yeah, baby, yeah. And there's got to be if he's the starter, we in trouble.
Hey, the tater says, how did Vandergriff and Stockton look?
Stockton got a couple of plays. I mean, I didn't see enough of him to be able to answer that. Vandergriff is the most athletic of the group. Nothing eye popping, but you could tell when he wanted to take off and run. If that continues to grow, he's going to be a problem. It's like Stetson Bennett, but with the size and the actual athleticism, not the squirreliness.
Okay.
So overall, it was fun. It was it was a balanced game, and kids all showed up. You can tell they're bought in. It's just going to take time. We're going to take our lumps. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some hiccups, but I think we're in good shape. I think we're taking some steps back, but I don't think the sky's falling for Georgia right now, based on that spring game.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna cut it off there, and then we'll see you next time when we're talking about the NFL draft.
Now I hope they didn't all just leave.
No, man, just stick around, guys. Y'all know the deal with the live stream.
Y'all know how we gonna chop this up. Don't be just
In fact, we're gonna cut this right here. So, hey, folks, welcome back to Behind the Hedges. It's Tuesday night, 9:30. Yada yada yada. You ain't got nothing better to do except listen to us run our mouths, and we're gonna do that about the NFL draft. What you got?
Well, let me tell you about that. Today, I went to eat at the local Chick-fil-A, and I've made buddies with the owner-operator. And I walked in, he saw me with my Georgia shirt on. He stopped business during the lunch rush, and we did a chest bump in the middle of his dining room in the middle of the lunch rush. He's born and raised in Athens. That's how special this year was for Georgia. And he did that because I was like, what a draft. And he was like, oh, like everything came down. That's what we're dealing with.
I love it. Let's talk about it after this.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
So, the draft. Let's talk some history. Let's talk some factoids. All right. Has a team ever had 5 players drafted in the first round of the NFL draft off the same side of the ball?
No.
Actually, yes, one team has.
Not on defense, unless you're counting the Georgia Bulldogs.
Right, you're right. I should clarify on the defensive side of the ball. So Georgia had 5 defensive guys go in the first round of the draft. What's the most players ever drafted in a single NFL draft from the same school?
Well, that's shared by 2 teams: 2004 Ohio State and 2019 LSU. 14. For both of those teams. Mm-hmm. Georgia put up 15.
15. Okay, and seemed like there was one more. Oh gosh, now I have forgotten what the other one was. Whatever. I know that 15 guys went in the first 6 rounds. All right, and we didn't even have a guy go in the 7th round. So that's good. I remember what it was. We are now tied. There's a 4-way tie. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and USC and Georgia now are tied with the 5 first overall picks.
Wait, say that again.
Oklahoma, Notre Dame, USC,
the unholy 3.
Yeah, and Georgia now have a record 5 first overall draft picks. With Georgia putting up Trevon Walker to the Jaguars. All right.
Who'd have thunk it?
Well, at the beginning of the what would Dan Mullen call it? At the beginning of recruiting season, most people thought Aiden Hutchinson was going to go first overall, and
Did you
then
just bring up Dan Mullen and
I
recruiting in
did,
the same
I did,
sentence?
I did.
Hey, listen, stop! Don't pour salt on that wound. You know, Florida's got like 50 plus first round draft picks. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ain't never in their history ever had a number one overall pick. So
Is
they
that
got
right?
great players. They
Hmm.
just can't ever seem to come up with the best player money can buy. Well, at least not off to the NFL. But I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me.
Yeah. So, I mean, not everybody can be Alabama and get a first overall pick. What, 76 years ago, something like that.
Oh, that's another good point. And like stopping the shit talk, that actually really surprised me for both of those schools. I just assumed because I'm not an NFL guy. The draft
Mhm.
is just kind of there in my mind. I know what it is, but I don't follow it. I just assumed somebody from the Spurrier or Urban Meyer era would have been number one overall, and I assumed Bama, stacks them up like Jenga board pieces. But no, it was like some dude. What was it? The 50s?
Oh, you the Alabama guy? Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. I wasn't alive yet. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure my dad was alive at the time.
That was surprising to me. Like just in an
Yeah.
objective way, I was like, really, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. I mean, we're up there now with the other true blue blood programs, which is really just Georgia.
There you go. There you go, Mikey.
Unemployment line. Woo!
And when the tater's taking shots at you,
Orange on orange crime. I'm here for it.
So, what can we say about this draft aside from the fact that Texas tied with Vanderbilt for total players taken?
We can say it was legendary. It was historic. Much like this defense that we fielded, the draft reflects that.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of those dudes took in the first round were from that legendary 2018 number one class that Georgia had. We weathered that storm. A lot of those dudes left.
Mm-hmm.
We weathered the NIL. We weathered the portal, and held on to these guys and fielded a defense that I don't think you'll ever see again. And everybody said it. I said it. You said it. Our colleagues in Field of Stream said it. Hell, the talking heads on TV said it. Defense is dead. You better get you an offense or you ain't going to win nothing these days. And then, from the depths of the sea, like some Lovecraftian eldritch horror, the Georgia defense in 2021 drove our opponents and their fans into the mouths of madness. The 2021 Georgia defense was the thing that should not be. It should not be. You should not be holding in 2022 teams to 10.2 points per game average for the season. It shouldn't be happening.
0.7 points per drive. 0.7
shouldn't be a
points per
thing.
drive.
Our defense was the call of Cthulhu.
I love it.
That which is dead may never die, or whatever the hell he wrote. And the draft reflected that, man. 5 defensive players in the first round, record set. 15 players taken overall, record set. That's it. It's just it be what it be. Now, that being said, we're not going to see that again. We will not see that again, and I don't believe any team's ever going to see that again. That is for a generation.
Preston's got a good question.
I got that question today from my friend up at the Chick-fil-A, and I said, pectoral muscle. That was the excuse given, but I don't really know. And despite what we did in the draft and how special that was, I was pretty salty about Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
I was salty. I'm still salty about that. That's horseshit. Now, Philadelphia got a steal. It gives me a reason to drive over to that. I hate Philadelphia, but I'll go over there to watch him and JD throw down some lumps.
Listen, here's some facts. There was some concern about Nakobe's measurables, his size particularly, and he didn't combine, right? He didn't combine. This pec muscle thing, right? There were people who were concerned, and maybe that was enough to get people scared off of him. But let's face facts, man. The Butkus Award winner. If you need to see something, go back watch the Michigan game. Just go watch the Michigan game.
Did it?
Right?
Somebody won that Butkus Award.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was out there making them plays.
There have only been
Shannon Sharp put it great. He was like, if you're just gonna go off measurable, then just don't even watch tape. Just go to the combine, see how fast they can run, see how much they can lift, and just make
Mhm.
your picks based on that. Here's a question. Again, Shannon Sharp quote. Can the dude play? Yes, he can.
And if you don't believe it, ask those Michigan players. Ask the Kentucky players, right?
Boy,
Ask.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm salty, and I think people were people who it was like a dual. They were kind of salty about Trayvon going number one, and then also like, yeah, because he's not even the best guy on the defense. What happened to Kobe Dean? This is BS. And part of me was like, yeah, you're right. Watch what Nakobe does when he gets up there, though. You watch.
Yeah.
You watch.
Philly they got to steal. They got to steal. And I hope he balls out. I mean, I hope that the Philadelphia Eagles just, look like the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? Like just like with Tony Siragusa and
you're gonna watch. Guys. You're gonna watch Nakobe Dean prove a lot of people wrong with his little short arms. You watch what happens.
I would be very surprised if we saw anything different. Hey, anything else on the draft? We can move this thing right on down the road.
Texas sent nobody.
Yes, just like Vanderbilt.
We sent 15. Bama sent 7.
Mm-hmm. LSU sent 10.
That's impressive. That's why I'm telling y'all, man. Like I think we've said this on this show before. Like they're a dumpster fire. They're a dumpster fire, and they're still sending 10 guys to the league.
Right.
Let that giant sleep.
Right.
Let it don't just let LSU sleep, because if it wakes up, it's never good for any of us.
Right. Heard that. And with that, here's this. Oh, welcome back to Field of Streams Behind the Hedges, everybody. It's Tuesday night, a little bit after 9:30 now. I'm Mitch, and this is your co-host, Dunati. And we're talking Georgia Bulldogs stuff for the first time in a long time. And Matt, I don't even know what to say about this topic here. What the heck is going on here?
This is going to be what drives Nick Saban to retire.
Oh yeah, say more.
It ain't the game. It ain't. He's old. It's not his passion. This portal / NIL is going to be. He's already said it. I mean, if you keep up with it, the seeds are already planted. He's over this. Dabo's over it. They're like the old guard. The I am your God. You gonna do what I say. College football coach. That shit's gone. And here's how it ties into Georgia. This badass receiver from Pitt, Addison, has made some wave, right? There's reports that Pat Narduzzi from Pitt has called Lincoln Riley and bitched at him like, you've tampered, like you're cheating. Mm-hmm. Then you hear reports, Feinbaum says, yeah, I followed up on that, and then I went and talked to an SEC coach, and the SEC coach was like, yeah, everybody's cheating. So what? It's just the way it is.
Right.
Like this Addison kid wants to get out of Pitt, wants to up his stock, wants to go first round. And then Georgia fans are like, oh, shoot. Kirby said it. We need a receiver. Here we go. Y'all are out of your mind. That kid will never touch Georgia with a 500-foot pole. You know why he won't?
Please tell us.
That's why he won't. That's the degenerative effect of Stetso Baggins IV. Receivers like that are not coming to Georgia as long as we stick with this guy. Yeah, he didn't win a natty. He contributed in a meaningful way in the last 8 minutes of a game on a team that won a natty because of a defense that we just talked about. But he didn't win a natty. Stetson's going to Stetson, and that's why guys like this who get in the portal are going to be like, I'm going to pass on Georgia because they want to do that.
Accuracy in reporting, says Mikey. I love it. Uh-oh, here we go. Stop playing. Sorry, Robert.
Sorry, my dude. The defense won the natty. Stetson just held on for dear life. That's what he should have done this past year. Because I'll tell you what, if Beck were slinging the ball all the time and we got to see more of that, that might change the minds of some of these 5-star wide receivers. But we're going to go with the Hobbit.
So we've seen a lot of teams dip into the portal, and
Georgia.
right. So that's what I want to bring up here. The portal is not something that Georgia has needed to rely on, even though we have bled some guys out to the portal. We've lost guys to the portal. Let's see. We're gonna let that one ride. We're gonna let that one ride right there. Okay. So we've lost guys to the portal, but and big teams. You name them. Ohio State, USC, Alabama. These teams are all picking up players out of the portal, and in fact, some of them are picking up our castaways out of the portal. And Georgia just hasn't had the need to do it, or hasn't had the ability to do it. What's up with our scholarship numbers?
I heard we were sitting at 89, and then
Right?
today
You and I have both been kind of tracking that over the past few weeks.
I read something today. And this was some of those Disney dogs, like the one who just made that asinine comment. Oh, no. The scholarship situation is officially unknown and murky, and we can take one more player. Addison. So what is it? And what happens if we are? What happens to a team if they're above the limit and they start the season and they're above the 85? Like, what happens?
Well, I mean, I guess you can't be above the 85, right?
So what happens?
Somebody has to lay their scully down. That's kind of how it has to go, right?
Or you're ineligible as a team? What's the punishment if you're like, you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna go with 89?
I don't know.
Does anybody have an answer out there? Because I ain't got one, and I can't find it on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just that would be an NCAA violation, some sort of violation. They'd send the team from LSU over to your school to start investigating.
I was told that the portal was going to be active for the Georgia Bulldogs 3 weeks ago. Get ready, here come the fireworks. They ain't even set off a bottle rocket. They ain't even do nothing.
Yeah. But then on the one token, Lan, let's think about this logically. Let's be fair, all right? Kirby's got that cordwood stacked up pretty dang high, right? So he's done a really good job recruiting all these positions so that we can lose 15 guys to the NFL draft and still not just be suffering mightily because of it, right? There's another one in the pantry. You know what I'm saying? Just pull out another one. So maybe. I don't know. Other teams are having to. I mean, look, Saban has dipped into the portal. He got Jamison Williams out of the portal. He's got Jermaine Burton out of the portal. Right.
But the deadline was Sunday.
Right.
Everybody. I mean, there's part of this. Part of me was relieved. Like, we didn't see any. And if they had done it by Sunday, they'd be in the portal now. Darnell ain't in the portal now. I was worried about Darnell.
Right.
Don't keep him. That being said, the last anybody knew, Georgia was 4 players above the limit, and that includes Clay Webb, who's in the portal, who hasn't found a home. So where are we? What's going on? Then today you hear, we don't really know, and we've heard it's below, and we could add a player. This is what I'm talking about. Saban and them old guard, they're like, you know what? The hell with this.
Yeah, some of you who are listening at home, leave us a comment and let us know what's going on with that. Is something up? Because I'm like Matt now. I've tried to find things written about this. I can't find it. So all right. So let me ask you one question, Matt, and then we'll get off of this topic and we'll move on to something else. But supposing we could go after a player or a position out of the portal, what would Georgia need to go after right now? Is it receiver?
That's one of them. I think a safety and a linebacker. All of the Tindall, Walker, Dean.
I hear you.
Those 3 rarely left. All were off the field. Some combination of them always on the field. It's a lot of experience. We got dudes. We got raw, like, studs ready to go. They just don't have experience. That's not a good area to have no experience. Safety is the same way. If I see Dan Jackson trot out there as a starter, I'm going to start sweating bullets because the kid's got a lot of heart, but I'm not here for Rudy again. I think we already turned in that chip. We got lucky. We got our natty. Now it's time to start putting dudes back in positions. And like, Chris Smith's back there. He's got a lot of experience, but he ain't
Sure.
the same athlete as Lewis Seen. We're going to miss Lewis Seen. I'm telling you that now.
Yes. I not, and that is not to discount Christopher Smith in any way, because like the guy's a player. All right, and if you don't believe me,
Lewis Seen.
ask Clemson. So,
Dude, Lewis Seen broke Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts ain't ever been the same since Lewis Seen took his head off and shoved it up his own ass. He's still good, but he ain't what he was.
So there's, we will likely see, Tyke Smith this year.
Okay,
And,
be the first time.
Yeah. And we got who was the guy that came back? William Poole, right? He came back as a linebacker, right?
He's about 27 years old now. I mean, he ought to be able to.
Robert Beal was the one I was thinking.
Beal's another 27-year-old
linebacker.
I mean, these are guys from like Kirby's second or third recruiting class. I mean, they're older, but it took them this long. I'm just saying, like that combination of like, these are the dudes plus experience. We're going to miss some of that at those positions. I'm not worried about edge. I'm not worried about the line. But the middle linebacker, safeties, Georgia fans, I'm telling you, you got to keep an eye on it.
Well, all I'm saying is that if you have to lose guys, then at least replace them with talented guys, right? That's all I'm saying. If you got to replace guys, then make sure they're talented guys. And do Malachi Starks, players of this Jaheim Singletary.
They ain't even on. They're not even on campus yet.
Right.
Bear Alexander's a good. He was injured. He didn't get to play in the spring. We didn't get to see him. We got horses. They just don't have enough miles on them yet. And that might translate into still a successful season.
Yeah.
But don't go in there expecting that we're going to shut people down to the tune of 10 points or less a game.
Hey, that is an excellent segue into our next topic. We need to talk about some expectations and how Georgia fans need to be acting. All right. So we're going to do that when we come right back. Hey, welcome back to Behind the Hedges. I'm your host, Mitch, and this is my co-host, Matt. And some of y'all out there act like you never seen your team win a national championship before. And we need to have a little conversation about it.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
I was 1 year old, Matt. I was one when the Georgia Bulldogs won their last national championship. So I don't remember it. I don't remember it. I remember we had a little a piggy bank that was in the shape of a Georgia Bulldog. He had a little G jersey on. There he is sitting there, And that's when I decided, ooh, what is that thing? I like that dog, right? I'm going to cheer for that team. I didn't even know it was a team. My dad was like, yeah, that's a team. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to cheer for that team. So that's how I became a Georgia fan. And there's a lot of folks listening to this show and watching this channel and whatnot who are younger than me. In fact, I go as far as to say most of them, right? So these folks ain't never seen their team win a national championship. But now that we have, what do we need to say to these people?
Nobody on this earth love to talk more shit in support of Georgia or against the opponents of Georgia than this guy right here.
Facts.
I was almost conditioned that this is what we had to do. Guys, I'm telling you, from the king, chill out. Why? Because we don't have to. We don't have to concern ourselves with the comings and goings of the little people. Let the proletariat pigs suffer in the gutter. Let them eat cake. Doesn't matter who they are, what they say, how they feel. It means nothing. That trophy is in Athens. And if you want it, you got to come get it. There ain't no excuse you can make. There's no smart-ass comment you can leave. There's no comparison you can offer. There's nothing you can do, Bama, Florida, Notre Dame, whoever else is out there. Georgia is your God now. And you will worship at the feet of your gods. And God don't come down here on earth and get involved in all our stuff. He just lets the little people, the ants, do their thing. And that's the approach we need to take now. You don't have to respond to every quip. You don't have to entertain this narrative from Bama. You know what I'm talking about. It don't matter. That trophy is sitting in Kirby's lap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it is.
So, what do you say to the Georgia fan who says, or to any fan really, that anything less than a playoff appearance is a failure?
That's fair. I still think that's fair. I don't know that that's going to happen. I think we should, even with the steps back that we're going to take, make it to Atlanta. Not going to be as easy as it was last year. Going to be a little more chippy. Going to be some choppy waters. Going to be some oh my God moments that we didn't have to suffer through last year because of the defense and what we lost.
Mm-hmm.
I still think realistic, like I'd bet money on we'll make it to Atlanta. And then we see what happens. But here's the thing. Chill out. You know why? Because we've proven, and the Gumps have proven, that sometimes if you're good enough in the regular season and you get the media on your side, it don't matter what happens in Atlanta. You can make it to the dance anyway. I will say this. Those who are like hell-bent on a repeat, I don't know about that.
And why is that?
Because history tells us that is incredibly difficult to do, even in the best of times for the best of teams. I'm going to tell you something right here. When it comes to teams who have won 2 in a row, now I'm not talking about year A you won and year B you won and then shared it with some other team. I'm talking about year A you won the national championship and year B you came right back and won the national championship and it's just your name on those 2 years. That has happened like 6 times ever. Like
how many times has it happened in the college football playoff era?
In the playoff era, never. But preceding the playoff era, and we're going to get to that little. I'm glad you brought that up, but hold on. Preceding the playoff era, Bama did it in the 2000 teens early. Nebraska did it in the 90s. And then Oklahoma did it in the 50s. Notre Dame did it in the 40s, and Minnesota did it in the 40s. And then I'm going to stop there because I think once we get past the 40s, I don't give a shit. Okay? That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 times that's ever legitimately been done. And in that era, I'm not even sure it was legitimate. Because you know what I'm about to do?
You're going to rewrite the history books?
I'm about to erase the history book.
Okay.
I'm going to go full Big Brother, Oceania, 1984. If college football started in the year 2014 of our Lord, if you ain't got a national championship starting in the playoff era, you ain't got a national championship. You can go jerk yourself off to whatever you want from the past when 5 different entities were trying to vote in a beauty pageant, say you were the best, but unless you lined up and played for it, you ain't got it. And that includes us. I'm in that group. So as it stands, the cock of the block is Alabama, followed by Clemson. Georgia, LSU, and Ohio State are right behind them trying to pick up the pieces.
So since 2014, there have been 8 champions crowned, 5 unique champions. So those unique champions are Georgia, LSU, Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Now, let's consider those and include LSU in this conversation, right? Is it likely that a team I did not just name will win the national championship in 2022?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think most of your talking heads, most of your experts are going to say that the odds are on either Bama, Georgia, Clemson, or Ohio State. Those are the teams that everybody's looking at. Those are the teams all those teams have already won a championship. They've already won one in the past 8 years.
You brought this up, because the whole shift there was a time where college football playoff was scoffed at and brushed aside. Oh no, we don't need one. College football is unique. That would be stupid. Until Alabama, LSU in 2012. An all SEC affair. And then earlier in that season, LSU beat Alabama, what was it, 9-7?
I think it was 9-6, but something like that.
Somewhere in there. And the whole country, the whole non-SEC college football apparatus went, whew, Well, I'm glad that answered that question. Glad one of these boring ass teams just got eliminated. Now we can move forward.
No.
And then circumstances happened, and Alabama snuck back in and won 21-0 over a team they'd already played in a game where there was 5 field goals kicked and a touchdown with a missed extra point. And then the whole college football apparatus, which previously had said, "No, we don't need a playoff," went, "Oh, we need a playoff. It'll be more fair. We can get the Big Ten, Pac-12, and Big 12, and ACC all involved with the playoff system." And yet here we are in 2022 now, and twice has the college football playoff national championship been an all SEC affair, and twice it was the same damn teams. So was the goal accomplished?
One team from the Big Ten has won a national championship. One team from the ACC has won 2 national championships, and the other 5 national championships have all come from the same conference, right? So where's your Big 12 and where's your Pac? You know,
was the goal accomplished?
I don't know. All I know is that it is better to be the haves than the have-nots, right?
If you go back before that, BCS, you saw, there's some Southern Californians in there, although they had to give up their one that they won legitimate. Sorry. Miami's in there. You got Michigan. You got some Nebraskas and some Washingtons and some Georgia Tech. But when you get to the playoff era, not as inclusive, not as diverse. So I think we're going to start. We're going to restart the clock at 2014. And if you ain't got something that says CFP championship next to your name, and you ain't got it.
Beautiful, man. Hey, that's a perfect note to end it on. What do you say?
I love it. Bama probably still loves it. Clemson's hanging in there, although some say their best days are behind them. We'll see. I don't know. LSU was a one-off. You can disqualify them, although they do still have a bunch of talent. And Ohio State's the one they're saying might just this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we will. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. It's really good to be back on here with my pal Ducati over here. I'm hoping that we can be a little more regular with this in the coming weeks. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe and all that. Leave us a comment. We'd love to talk with you. And we will see you guys in the funny papers. Peace.